I'm about to interview Abby in my crib. Alright, cool. Yeah, I will. And you're gonna be the first person for the car. I'm thinking maybe Friday or Saturday for that. Alright, we had tomorrow morning. Alright, sounds good. Alright, for sure. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Peace. Bye. It's my boy.
Who's that?
Aaron? Yeah. He says what's up.
I'm going to say
Okay, so yeah, let's just hit this meditation real quick, and we'll get on with it. You ready? Yeah, we started it. Can you just ensure? Oh, I gotta record this. So the microphone is going. All right. So can you just ensure for me that that the green light is on the back of the microphone?
Yes. On the microphone.
Yes.
The little red
On the
light.
top thing. Okay. Cool. Hello. What is up? Today we are filming episode 1 of In This Room, where I bring on my family, my friends, my special guests, people that I want to introduce to you. And today we're in this room, and our first guest on the show is my friend Abby. Everyone welcome Abby. All right. How's it going?
Very well. How are you doing, Ben?
Good. So, every time that I start like a conversation like this, I feel kind of like I need to deflate it almost. Like there's kind of like an expectation of what it should be, and people just dive into it, but I always love to like bring it back and be like, okay, but how are you doing? So
Yeah.
First of all, this is Abby. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome to my room.
Grateful to be here.
That's so great. This is episode 1 of In This Room. And I was thinking of the title last night and how cool it is, because I was envisioning every single episode to be in this room. But something cool about the title of In This Room is that I can be in any room, and be like, today we're in this room, but today we're in this room, yeah?
I love it. It's like being in the present moment. At any given moment, here
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
Mm-hmm.
At any given moment of this series, you're in the room you're in.
Cool. So, would you like to tell the people something about yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'm grateful to be here. What an honor to be the first one on In This Room.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember how that happened?
Divine inspiration.
It's something like that, yeah. So I want to let you finish your little introduction, but so we were just talking about spiritual downloads like right before we hopped on the camera, and so I was meditating one day. I had met her maybe 1 or 2 times. This is maybe our 5th time meeting, but we're still good friends. And and I was meditating, and I had mentioned that I got a download that my first guest was supposed to be this other woman, and I reached out to her, and she's she lives in Santa Barbara now, and so she's not around. And so I was meditating, and I said, okay, who should my first guest be? And I heard in clear English in the back of my head, Abby. And so here we are.
Wonderful.
And so, yeah, if you would like to continue on with your introduction or just tell people about yourself.
Absolutely,
The floor is
do
yours.
so.
The mic is recording and the mic is recording, so
Wonderful.
do your thing.
I am an artist. I'm a creator. I have a book of poetry on Amazon. I have a senior thesis that I wrote dedicated to my exploration of identity through poetry. So
cool.
I describe how confessional, detailed, personal artwork, poetry in this case,
Yeah.
can allow you to explore your identity as a human being, but also
absolutely.
in dynamic with group, with community, and your positionality. I have things that I've done that are concrete accomplishments and achievements, but I also think above all, my internal spiritual journey towards self-love has been my biggest hurdle and my biggest challenge, and one of my biggest progressions, and something I've moved forward in effectively.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. In self-love, you say the journey of self-love. So how would you say that you go about conquering that, or that you said that you had challenges with it in the past? I think we all did. Growing up, I think we all do. I think we grow up in a society that kind of indoctrinates us not to like who we are, and we see all these ideas of advertisements and billboards of who we're supposed to be, and when we don't match up to that, it's super difficult when we're young kids to break out of that box and say, I don't care that I don't look like that, I'm still going to love myself for who I am, even if it is like a really big challenge. You know, kids have issues with self-esteem, absolutely, these days, which really sucks. I have a few questions about that actually, but if you would like to talk about how you've been able to like clear those hurdles, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely. And I think just in terms of the language used around it, like you said, I believe conquer the issue or something along those lines. You know, I think one of the first steps for me is understanding the power of language. So I'll briefly speak on something about that that's more detailed, is that we have basically a highway in our neurology, in our neurobiology, if you will, between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. It's called the reticular activating system.
Okay.
And so our conscious mind processes about, I might be wrong, 40 to 50 bits per second, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, please don't quote me on the numbers.
I know.
But
I know what you're about to say.
The relative comparison is what's relevant here. So our subconscious mind is processing 11 million bits per second. The huge disparity, that difference in terms of numbers alone is why using language that's positive and affirmative is so important. So for me, one of the primary things I try to remember on my journey of cultivating self-love, cheers to that, is talking in the positive. So for me, if I have something I'm working on, I don't use language about that specific thing. I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
I don't want to be late. I am ready and willing not to be late. Okay, I'm still using the word late.
Right.
Your subconscious mind does not hear the negation. It doesn't hear not, don't,
interesting,
will not, right? It's ineffectively processing that. So I would say I am ready and willing to consistently keep my agreements and to be on time and diligently organized within my life, right?
Wow. Okay, cool.
So that affirmation is more effective in that sort of context.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
Of course, so the way that you phrase it, or the way that you present it to your mind in a way.
To your own mind.
Yeah.
And to the universe. I mean, you could obviously talk about, the further implications of putting words or thoughts into the air around you.
Right.
That's one point to the question you asked.
Okay, cool.
But I think it's an important one in my journey of self-love.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for thanking me for all the questions. That's interesting what you said. Do you remember we were posted up at the studio like 2 nights ago, and I was like, I want to go down the path that would be more productive for ourselves. And so in my head right now, I have like, I could go down this way, I could go down this way. I think I'm gonna go down this way. So I just started reading the 4 Agreements. I think we mentioned this, and so just like what you're saying, the way that it is worded and the way that it is presented to the universe is also very important in the things that you say. Because the things that you say, just like at all times, like my friend, he came to the studio and he was being a little negative, and I said, dude, I was just reading today about how it's like how important it is not to say those things like in any way, even if they are hypothetical, even if they are in the air, that the words that you say, because they have an intent, they have a force behind them. And so those affirmations that you want to like start, if you have like goals that you want to achieve, like affirmations that you're trying to get to, it's like very important to be repetitive about them. And also that the more negative things that you say are the things that you're going to bring into yourself, that you're going to bring into your life. But if you don't mind, let's go into these cards. So and
I can add on to that at some point.
Go for it.
Just briefly, I will say I believe that energy will attach to the space around it, right? So when you have this experience of someone in your space, essentially, talking in a negative way, the walls, the floor, the air, everything can contain that energy. Right. And I just wanted to say that as well, that may have been some of what you were experiencing is the physical energy.
Yeah, cool.
That isn't studied yet, but that we know is there.
Yeah, cool. And in the studio definitely is like something I want to have it be a lot more positive. Yeah. To the point where this guy, he was on the phone with somebody, and they were having like a pretty heated argument almost. I was like,
wow.
Please leave.
Take it outside.
Let's take it outside. Yeah. And he took it outside, and I could still feel the vibes of what happened. I said, take it further. I literally opened the door and said, take it a little bit further. But he knows who he is. Much love to that guy. Okay, cool. So if you would like, so we're going to kind of begin sort of like a formal interview so y'all can get to know Abby. At the same time, getting to know me, just like seeing who I am. for like a super long camera shot, you know. All right, cool. So if you don't mind, I guess these kind of could be kind of rapid, but
Sure.
if you are ready,
I'll keep it to a one sentence answer for
okay,
each. How
cool.
about that?
Unless you have more, in which
Okay.
case don't
Riff on it.
hesitate. Yeah, cool. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a nitrogen brewed coffee,
Okay.
which is pretty strong, but I'm still not awake.
Okay.
And a sip of an orange ginger juice.
Okay, but no food.
No food yet.
No food today. No food yet. Okay,
Liquid
cool.
so far.
All right. What did you want to be as a kid versus where are you now?
I'll be concise,
Do
but
your
I
thing.
won't be concise.
Okay.
The first thing I ever wanted to be was a hairstylist.
Okay.
I desperately wanted to cut hair, to style hair, to dye hair.
Yeah.
And I practiced on people. I've actually given quite a few haircuts in my life.
How did they
That
turn
turned out
out?
very successfully.
Oh, really?
I'm intuitive with it. I taught myself how to braid on the fringe of a chair. So when I was a kid, there was this chair with these fringe, and I
like
literally more,
Kinda.
yeah, something like that,
My cats go ape on these.
which is lovely. They're expressing their gratitude for the furniture.
Yeah.
So I taught myself how to French braid. I taught myself how to inverse French braid,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
how to do small braids. And I was literally maybe 8 years old.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So, and then the next thing I wanted to be was a theoretical physicist. Once I realized the societal constructs around the expectation for a hairdresser. Do you see what I'm saying? So my
Societal
own
constructs. What kind of constructs?
So I was free from the inhibition of society when I was really young.
Okay,
Like 6,
cool.
I was like, I'm going to be a hairstylist.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
is the pinnacle of existence. This is the height of what I could do.
Yeah.
Because I believe this is a high caliber job. It is a high caliber job. But then once society put their energy onto me, I said, oh, I want to be a theoretical physicist, which is just as accurate.
Okay.
But I think that was more propelled by expectations of adults around the level of
Okay.
work, right?
Okay. Interesting.
And then the third thing was a fashion designer,
Dope.
which I have a clothing line, so
Okay.
that's working out.
Okay. Cool. You want to support your brand or tell people?
Not
your
yet.
Brand? Okay. Not yet. All right,
Soon.
for sure.
Thank
Okay, of course. Thank you. Kanye West recently announced his bid for 2020 presidential candidacy. How does that make you feel, and what are your thoughts on that?
So I have an article on my website,
Okay.
and
Do you want to shout that out?
it's abbylaporte.com.
Hey, we'll put it in the
.com.
description.
Emphasis on that because there are other websites with similar wording, but that's
Okay.
not that. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's ABBYLAPORTE.com. And the article is entitled Kanye West says his bipolar is a superpower and
Mm-hmm.
that's okay.
Okay, cool.
So it's basically a discussion of how no one's going to try to give themselves a mental disorder like bipolar, right?
Right.
And the critique of what he said when he said his mental illness is a superpower was that it romanticizes it.
Oh,
So
when he
it's a
said that he
whole-
said it, is that was that in a song?
He definitely says it
I know he
in
definitely says it in a song. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely goes on about that. He talks about the duality of it. Anyway, so I think that his character has flaws at times that are dangerous.
Okay,
He has
sure.
made statements that are really problematic in
Mm-hmm.
the past. So in this article, I basically analyze, when you have a psychotic mental illness,
Yeah.
without delving too far into the subject, it can enhance what you already have within your soul or your character or your temperament. So Kanye West has problematic beliefs that he has spoken about. Support
Yeah.
for Trump.
Yeah.
He said one comment that I won't repeat that is extremely negative
Okay.
to the experience for Black Americans of our history,
Yeah.
which was extremely problematic. And so,
Just imagine if we caught him on a wild day.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think, the more candidates, the better. I don't think he has a chance of winning, although a reality TV star became president, so who knows?
Yeah, it's crazy for me, the idea.
What do you think?
I don't even know what if I would want him as president. That's kind of weird, and it's honestly interesting to me that all he did was tweet it, and now there's hella articles, and it was just like a 3-line tweet about how, that he says that he's going to be doing it, and how everyone ran with it, but there's no there's nothing behind it other than one tweet. That's all that he said, but it's enough to
Yeah.
go to make the nation go crazy. But it is really weird to me that if it were, like, I wonder how he would feel if he were responsible for Trump's reelection, because he entered the blue race, you know what I mean, and then split the vote right down the middle. And so, like, because it's obviously right now, speaking for myself, I mean, there could be people on the right side who say the inverse of this, but it's like, I feel like right now it's like Biden's gonna freaking win the race, because it's so evident that this dude is, I mean, they're both pretty mentally unstable, but it's pretty clear that Trump is, what the fuck, is a fucking, I don't even know what to say.
So my deliberation is he's either an antichrist
Yeah.
or he's an imbecile and creepy.
He's so fucking,
Or both.
he's so conceited. His ego is so disgusting, an egomaniac. He must really dislike himself. That's all I gotta say.
Horribly so.
Yeah.
To the point of inciting violence.
Oh my gosh, to the point of just lying every single time that he speaks, you know
Do
what I
you
mean?
think it could be some form of a call to action? How do you see the other side of having someone so cruel in our office?
Yeah, so J. Cole actually, after he put out KOD, I got the vinyl right here. Fuck it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that KOD vinyl is signed by him.
Beautiful.
Right here. Shwabang. There it is.
What a gift.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. After he released this album, he went on an interview show, and he was talking about how it was good that Hillary didn't get elected, because it's going to be the same exact thing that's happening in the White House with all the corruption and everything that's so nasty and gnarly, and why there's so many riots and protests right now. But it would all be more hidden. And so this is just like, exposing, this is what it is, kind of deal with it, you know what I mean? And the people are finally fed up with it, kind of obtaining class consciousness, which is a term that I learned in my sociology class this last semester, where we're starting to finally wake up to this, and I don't know, we'll see. But as for Kanye, would you be all right with, like, yourself being the reason that Donald Trump got elected? Like, how would that sit with you? You are such an idol of mine. Like, I've thought about getting you tattooed. Like, I might get you tattooed on my side, because I love you. I love your music. You're a genius to me. I can't really say anything negative about you. You're just one of my idols. You've always been, like, the College Dropout came into my life at such a perfect time, and it resonated so much, because I was like, at the time I was in school, and I was like, yo, two middle fingers up to my teachers, you know, who keep giving me C's on my genius work, you know, or are failing me on this shit that I am in love with, you know what I mean? And so it's like, okay, I'm just gonna throw a middle finger up and do this on my own. But, you know, that I don't know, it seems really dangerous. You know, that if he goes in, he's going to split the blue vote right down the middle, and then the youth are going to vote for Kanye, maybe just to be funny. I mean, how is he going to be as an actual world leader? You know, I mean, I think he's cool with what he's doing right now. But I don't know.
It's a valid
We'll see.
question.
I also saw a tweet that it's like, it's too late for any new candidate to even be put on the
I
ballot.
believe so.
And again, the whole
He'd be
entire
a write-in
world.
candidate, I think.
Yeah.
Actually.
Okay. Cool. That would be wicked.
So.
But again, it's so crazy. I saw one tweet. No, it's so crazy how just one tweet incited this whole conversation throughout the whole entire world. And there's nothing behind it. He could just be tripping.
There's two elements to this that I want to speak about really briefly.
Sure.
First of all is celebrity culture. Not the culture of celebrities, but the culture of worshiping celebrities is stronger at this time in history. It's stronger than it's ever been. So because of what's going on with social media, the internet,
Cool.
you know, our generations, millennials and Gen Z, are engaging with what it means to be a celebrity in a whole different way.
Yeah.
There's a sense of spiritual worship. This is not my
It
idea,
is weird,
but I will
and
quote
it's
a
new.
friend. She believes that, like, when you see these albums, like Kendrick says, my resume is real enough for 2 millennium, right? So it's this idea of the deification of celebrity, right? Beyonce, Jay-Z, you know, you see the video for Ape Shit, that video, such a great video, filmed in the Louvre.
Yeah, interesting.
She says, call my girls and put them all on a spaceship. Hang with Beyonce one night, I'll make you famous. That, the beat was off on the second part. But anyway, point being, it's this magnification of the magneticism of celebrities, right? And so it's to the point where we might worship them one day in a very real way.
It's weird.
like actual deities.
Yeah.
So, keeping that in mind. And by the way, that is not my theory, but I believe
cool.
it. And my friend taught me that. So.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I have another question that is regarding that.
Absolutely.
Social media is something so prevalent today, yet it's something that nobody 40 years ago could even have fathomed. What do you think the influences of social media on our youth, and do you use any social media yourself?
I will say one other thing that was the second thing I was going to say, and it
sure.
does somewhat tie into this.
Okay, cool.
We as humans cannot predict the future, and I think that's something that people lose sight of. I think it's very easy because of our cognitive capacity as humans to project into the future. We don't have any information about it, generally speaking. So I think there will be long-term ramifications to what's going on in terms of the prevalence of social media.
Yeah.
I think that we don't know the power of Gen Z yet. They've done things like, one of my Gen Z friends, she's 18, told me that they had started a campaign on TikTok to put all of Donald Trump's items in their shopping carts, which actually made it so that no one could buy anything.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And it's like there's this organizing power that happens when it's like this massive gathering point, right? And I will say Gen Z, which is essentially 23 and below, they're the kids who grew up with social media, have higher rates of depression, higher rates of anxiety, lower rates of hookup culture, lower rates of, I'm not sure about drinking, but I know, lower rates of sexual activity. Basically, this is a generation who's looking at Snapchat, looking at the party on their phone as they're falling asleep in their bed at home and putting it under their pillow.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's hard to predict, but I think it's both positive and negative.
I once saw a woman at a party.
Negative and positive, I should add on that.
Yeah. What did you say that instead?
I said positive and negative, but I want to keep it on the upbeat for the second half. Go ahead.
I once saw a woman at a party who was just in the corner not having a really good time, and she took out her phone and started like snapping. I mean, this sounds like so cliche. Everyone has like criticism of what, but just one example, like this one woman, she took out her phone and literally just like put a smile on, like for the flash, and then the flash went away, and then she went back to her melancholy state. It was crazy. You're like, what's up at a party? And I literally just watched the complete transformation of her just put it down and then just go back to being like this. It was kind of weird. Cool.
That's a fascinating, I just want to highlight that is a fascinating experience to see the energetic shift of the face we create and then the face that we feel.
Yeah, it's interesting.
With social media specifically. Wow.
It's interesting. People feel that they need to do that. Yeah. And social media, for me, it taps on instant gratification and delayed gratification. Like you mentioned Kendrick Lamar. And, I think it's so cool that Kendrick Lamar has so many Instagram followers, but of course it's not about followers for him at this point. It's about, the creation that he's doing and the movement and the art that he's putting out. But because he has such a following, he could be getting so much gratification every day based on what he's doing. But you haven't seen him say a word in a year and a half. I'm on the hip hop subreddit, Hip Hop Heads, and it's hella funny. Everyone's like, yo, we haven't seen this dude's hair in 2 years almost, you know what I mean? And he's just been working, you know what I mean? He's doing his albums and whatnot. I know I read that his newest album is done actually.
Wow. Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I know, it's gonna be really
That's thrilling.
Cool. But yeah, and that's a big thing for me too.
He's my top male artist.
Top male artist. Who are your top female?
Nicki Minaj.
Okay, anybody else? How do you feel about Taylor Swift?
I'm not a fan.
Katy Perry.
Not a fan.
Cool.
She has a fraught history, actually.
What like female rappers are out there today that are like really doing it other than
You know who I love? I was talking to someone and I said, "Oh, I only listen to Top 40." Turns out that's not true. I listen to other things. Yeah. I love Princess Nokia. I have been on the Princess Nokia hype for so long. I listened to her music for years and years.
I think I just came upon her recently.
This is true, I guarantee, because she was very underground. She has this thing, she did a podcast, Smart Girl Club, something like that, where it was an hour of affirmations, unreal. Her journaling, her spirituality, manifestation, all that, right? So she just had a TikTok hit. I like him. I like him. Like him too. He's my man. He's my boo.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm not really.
Okay.
Not enough. Anyway, so Princess Nokia is one of the most vibrant, brilliant artists out there, and her style is, I want to say the word like idiosyncratic, like it has idiosyncrasies, like it's
unique.
very unique and jilting. Like there's something gorgeous about it. That's someone I'm enamored with, and she does rap on her tracks. Yeah, I heard a freestyle of hers. It was unreal.
Oh, that's fire.
And then she created a song out of it. Sunday Best is one of her best songs in the world, featuring Oshun.
Nice, very cool. I was just shuffling top 50 the other day, and she came on multiple times, and I definitely acknowledged them. They were cool. Okay, so for sure, that's really dope. I have another question for you, and then we're gonna play a little game. Okay, cool. So Karen. The idea of Karen is a very trending topic at the moment. So if you could say something to all the Karens, what would you say?
It's funny, when you asked the question, I was preparing for the question of what is your opinion about the phenomena of Karen?
Yeah. Well, take it how you want. But what would you say to them?
What I was preparing for question-wise was the easier question.
Okay,
the more difficult question is what you're asking, which is what would I say to someone who is entrenched in their bias? I want to talk to you. Right? Yeah. So Karen is a term for someone who is either passive-aggressively or aggressively, usually aggressively, enacting racism.
You know, that is the fucking rudest thing you've said to me.
You decided
to come up to us. Go back where you came from if you want to use language like that.
And prejudice and bias. Mm-hmm. And she is doing so in a way that is weaponizing, she's white, weaponizing her whiteness, weaponizing her privilege, in essentially in a violent way.
Stupid! Quote unquote, I am trying to do my mother a favor!
We're gonna be able to get our stuff.
How dare you! I'm trying to do my mother a favor and you're too stupid to figure out an address in New York!
That's something I think has to be acknowledged. So I think it's hard because I want to say something spiritual. Like what comes to mind is enlightenment is having greater levels of loving compassion, which I learned from the most brilliant poet I've ever met. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to shout him out because I don't know if he would appreciate that or not. Sure. He's read my work. Brilliant. He won the California Book Award. Anyway, so I was standing with him, and I'm a published poet, and he said something about enlightenment, and I asked, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, being born with higher levels of compassion and empathy, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what is missing from someone who has not only been indoctrinated with the prejudice of our country, and the history, frankly, but also someone who has taken that on, who has allowed that to permeate through their system, their body, their mind, their soul, their spirit. Mm-hmm. And that's toxic. I guess to boil that down and make it more digestible, because I think someone who's a Karen is not critically thinking. They are not observant. They are not witnessing or listening to the world. If you're sensitive to the data around you, you will understand that not only are all humans entirely equal, but we all deserve love, respect, right. Lifting up everybody.
It's so interesting.
Affirmative action, specifically for those who are marginalized in our society.
Affirmative action, or what do you mean by that? Or can you explain that a little bit more?
So equality is the idea that we should all be equal. Equity is the idea, there's a meme about it that shows this fence and this short guy can't see over it. So the podiums, the step ladders that they're on actually are different heights. Okay. You have to give advantage to people who have been disadvantaged for a long time in order to even make it equitable. So affirmative action is the idea of like, let's put in more effort, energy, time, and resources to communities that have had so much less because of our history in order to lift up those communities, like redlining, Blacks, sometimes maybe Latino people, all a variety of marginalized groups were not able to buy houses in certain areas unjustly, with no reason. Financially, they were set. I mean, all these factors were not part of it. It was entirely bias. So in order to remediate that history, we must put in extra effort and energy and time and money, financial resources, perhaps above all, to lift up and, like I said, remediate, to change the effects of active subjugation, essentially.
Cool. Yeah.
Nice. And I don't know.
And
I don't have the information.
And to Karen's?
This is so to Karen's.
To Karen's, I would say mind your own business. You know,
I would say to Karen's, hey,
just stop.
This is what I would say.
Just chill. And this is where my file got corrupted, and the film will actually no longer continue from this point forward. I apologize to the viewers. I apologize to Abby. I was very frustrated trying to work out all of this film, but the audio is going to continue from here on out. My apologies. This will not happen again. I'll try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Thank you. Just chill. Come on. Why you got to do that? You're just like unnecessarily going out of your way to make somebody else's day worse. Your day is going to be worse too if you're like if you're feeling on that negative energy.
Here's what I would say to Karen. Hey Karen, I just have a quick question for you. Could you please, so I have a request. Can you try to imagine your life as someone else in a different demographic? And then I would say, Karen, there's a thing called motivational interviewing. So it would be a series of questions to elicit the root cause of their bias, essentially.
Okay, cool. Nice.
That's what you have to do.
Like kind of like a gotcha. Almost. Or like putting them in a way.
A curious
like
inquiry as to where they're coming from
yeah.
so that they can see their own error. Make it their idea. Show them the error of their ways by asking them what their ways are.
Yeah. Cool. Some of them can be super disgusting, huh?
Horrific. It's seriously one of I'm glad we're recording it. I'm glad for cancel culture, call out culture.
Okay, cool. Cancel culture.
Absolutely. You get your video camera out. You get your phone camera out.
Oh, you see that?
What?
It stopped, but it just stopped right now. But that'd be fine. It's okay. Let's see. Are
you gonna edit it after?
Oh yeah, I think we're all good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it'll just be a little gap. But what were you saying?
Okay. Accountability is fine. If someone has integrity, they can handle accountability. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Cool. I like that. I would like to get into cancel culture, but I do need to head out kind of soon. I know we've been talking for like 25 minutes, so I'm by really quickly. Yeah, so I do have this one game that I want to play, but cancel culture has been really big for me. Like, oh my gosh, I honestly want to like throw two middle fingers up to those who are canceling, almost. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what the person does, but it's like, you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Do you remember? There's that one episode. I was actually thinking about it.
With the phone ratings?
No, that one's crazy. That one's my favorite episode, actually, Nosedive. But no, I was thinking about it earlier today, which is funny. It's the cookie one, where they take the person's consciousness out and then they put it into that little thing.
The teddy bear?
No, it's like their consciousness is called a cookie, and they can extract their consciousness and then put it into like a little cookie is what they call it, and then that same person is inside of the cookie, but it's like two separate entities. Whoa. Do you know what I'm talking about? But in that there's like something that it's like every single person when they're born they're implanted with a chip, and so it affects their vision, or everything is inside their head. I think that was this one, and this dude just knew how to read people, but he got canceled to the point where he was kind of like a void figure, that because everyone has this vision in their head, he can be kind of X'd out. And because he's X'd out, when everyone sees him, they can't hear him. He's mute, he's discolored. And so he's not even there. He can't get close to any person almost ever. Forever and everybody. And so I don't know about cancel culture. It's kind of crazy. Like, one of the main things that I want to say about it is that it's like, first of all, it's just like you and me. It's just every fucking person at home who has an opinion sharing it online. Like, the people who are sharing these things, they're just nobody. I want to say they're not special. They're just people with opinions, and that's okay. Everyone has the right to share them. But it's like, every day we make decisions, you know what I mean? And sometimes I'm really low, and sometimes I make really bad decisions, not bad decisions, but decisions that are just super left. You know what I mean? And I'm already putting myself in a position where I'm vulnerable by being on a camera. And sometimes I'm just gonna be conversing, and maybe I'll say something just attempting to figure it out with no negative intent behind it. But somebody can clip that, put it on Twitter, and all of a sudden, fuck this dude. When my whole entire life has been dedicated to disseminating love and light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then they kept one little thing. Oh, this guy did that. Let's all attack him. Done.
I have so much to
You know
say
what I
about
mean?
this.
I know, and I want to that comes back to Chris Brown beating up Rihanna 8 years ago or something
I
like
don't
that.
listen to Chris Brown.
It's crazy, right? But maybe he just snapped. You know what I mean? And I've snapped too.
He's an abuser, though.
We all snap. We all get hella low.
Here's the thing,
and
though,
I
yeah.
agree. And it's it
Plus,
can't,
there were photos. I mean, at that point, it's hard.
But
you know.
again, but it's what I want to say is that God accepts me at my lowest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he'll always let me come back, and he'll always forgive. And I just hope that the people can do that too, because you know that I don't have negative intent when I get on the camera. I don't have negative intent when I talk.
Right.
You know?
I have
And
three
so
things to
if
say about
something
it.
did
Yeah.
happen that did come up that was I would anticipate and encourage and hope that y'all would be dude, look at what he's done. Look at his career.
Right.
We're all human. We all have times when we're lower, when we all have less discipline, where we hold on, where we lose ourselves and lose our composure. It happens left and right. I forgive him. I forgive all these people. I swear.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me speak on this.
Yeah, go for it.
So 3 things. First of all, that's part of philosophies of ethics. Is it the means, the end, the consequence? Basically, there's this idea, is it your intent, your motive for taking an action, or is it the action itself, or is it the effects of the action, right? Utilitarianism, an ethical philosophy framework.
Sure.
Do the best for the greatest number of people. That's about effect.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all these different philosophies about which stage, which part of making a decision counts the most. Is it your motive? Is it your action?
Okay.
Or is it what happens based on your action?
Interesting.
That's actually something I learned that you study when you study
what do you
ethics.
think? Or what are some arguments?
Well, that's just my one point. The second point, I don't know.
I guess
I'm just putting that out there
the
as
intent
information.
is the most important.
That's debatable. I mean, philosophers
Yeah, that's cool.
have discussed this. Aristotle, virtue ethics, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I want to say two more things. So we're talking about cancel culture. Oh no. Anyway, I believe in cancel culture. Oh, I was going to say, okay, here it is. Sorry about the pause. Sometimes God has to channel, the universe has to channel, and takes a little moment to laugh at the universe, laugh at itself,
Sure.
and break free of expectation. So, Brene Brown, who is not my favorite public speaker, she's...
Who?
Brene Brown, she's I
don't know her.
She's a 50-year-old white lady, flipped hair. She's from the South, so she has a Southern accent. She's very she's kind of curvy.
Yeah.
She's warm. She speaks very colloquially. She's a psychological researcher, right? And she does work around vulnerability and how bravery and vulnerability are linked, right? And so she says, basically, it's I don't know, a Churchill. So she's quoting somebody about you can't be judged by people who aren't in the arena. Essentially, if you're in this section watching the action like gladiators, there's 10 guys in there. There's 10, 100, whatever, 1,000 in the seats watching. Bro, like you said, these normal people, random people, who are you to comment if you're not in the arena? So if you want to speak your piece and criticize, you have to put yourself in a vulnerable position and be creating content yourself in order to have that leverage. So that's kind of the problem is, and this is my last point.
People with no credentials.
Yeah, if you're not trying, you don't get criticized.
But then you get 40,000 people with no credentials,
right.
And it becomes number one trending on
right,
Twitter.
but here's the thing.
Crazy.
Here's the thing. I believe in cancel culture because we have to be responsible and take accountability for our actions and decisions. And if we take full 100% responsibility in our life becomes better. That's from The Compound Effect, a book I'm reading. This is the thing.
Okay.
If you have integrity, if you are intelligent, if you have compassion and divine love, you will be okay. You can get canceled and you can be resilient. You can get canceled and have a platform to explain yourself.
When you say I believe in cancel culture, what does that mean?
I think giving groups of people the ability to respond to the action of someone who is seen
Yeah.
by society in a different way, on a different level than someone who's working a 9 to 5, going on the internet sometimes, doesn't create content, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's appropriate that the audience has an ability to respond at this point
Absolutely,
in time, and
yeah.
that something can
And of
start
course they
trending
have-
because it's trending.
Yeah.
A meme is made because people believe in it, because there's mass numbers behind it of people who resonate with it. So, for example, I resonated with Lana Del Rey getting canceled. She has had consistently problematic behavior, right? It's been subtle, but it's been ongoing.
Okay, so this is interesting too. And-
But
yeah.
do you hear me in that? If you are a genuinely good person, it doesn't matter what the internet says about you.
Mm-hmm.
You persevere. Dedication, patience, and perseverance are critical components. You have a troll
and
or a
that-
hater.
yeah.
Content creation. Put yourself out there. It's
Yeah.
not what you've done.
Yeah, yeah.
It's what will you do. You said, "Oh, I hope they know all the things I've done already." No, what are you going to keep doing
Yeah.
to remediate? Right? There's that word, to remediate what the error was initially.
At that point, when ostensibly the
Ooh, you got me there.
when ostensibly the majority dislikes you, at that point is when it comes back to me and my relationship with God, like I mentioned before, and that sure, all these people can hate me, but I know that I can do nothing in this life to where God will actually disown me or not want to have me as a follower, or leave or stop communicating with me or stop trying to better me,
Yeah.
and they can think whatever they want. That's man judging man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's man judging man. It's a different level. But it's God knows my intent. God knows what I'm here to do.
And
God
that-
knows why I'm here.
That ties
And
right
God,
back
God
around.
will never cancel me ever.
No,
You know?
because it ties back around to exactly what we began this entire conversation with. If you're in a journey of self-love
Yeah.
and self-respect and understanding and appreciating your own integrity,
Yeah.
you are the one creating your reality. The universe and God see you for the loving, energetic, divine being you are. Once you can see yourself that way, it doesn't matter what anyone else is saying about you, around you.
Right.
You're in the room with the guy acting negative, right? In your studio. That's okay, because you can perform alchemy. You can transmute the negative energy. So say you get canceled. Well, guess what? You are present with yourself. You trust yourself. You love yourself.
Right.
You derive your sense of identity, self-worth, and safety from yourself, and above all, from God, from whatever created you, from the universe.
Yep.
Therefore, you are safe. I have a poem that ends,
the end
if
of
we
the day.
choose unconditional empathy, we will find safety. Please emit love constantly. That's it.
Boom. That might be the title of this episode. Emit love constantly. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, cancel culture, I don't know. All I gotta say on it, I'm down. We should wrap it up because we gotta go. But I don't know. Try to be more forgiving and put yourself in their shoes. That's what I gotta say.
Blessed be. Amen. Love.
Blessed be.
All right. Hey, I have a thing.
Yeah,
what if
sure.
you ended on boom? Do you remember when you said that as a love, emit love constantly? You go boom.
Did I
And
say
then you
that
ended
now?
on- No, right? Like 2 seconds ago.
Oh.
And you could
What,
cut it there.
That could be like a constant thing.
No, just for this episode.
For now.
For the editing, it was interesting because there was this moment
Yeah.
where it was a perfect stop, I think, and I liked what you said after that.
Okay, cool.
But what happened was you said boom, and we're both hyper engaged, and then you go like this, and you kind of lean back,
Yeah.
and you take a breath, and that's beautiful too. And you could include that last part, but the energy, just watch it back.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going
just
right
watch
now.
it back.
All right. Anyway, we're
Cool.
just talking, trying to figure things out.
Oh,
This is
are we still going?
Yeah, we're still going.
Oh, I
it's
didn't
it's
know that. I
1:11.
just said that. I
It's
thought
all
we
it's
cut
all
it.
love. It's also
1:11.
1:11 right now. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks
That
for
was
joining
it.
us in this room, and we'll see who's on the next one. Peace out.
Please, a look behind the scenes.
Yeah, look
debating the editing process.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
1:11.
Now we can cut it. But yeah, it's
I'm
like
so
that was like
sorry.
four-
Oh my god,
No,
I
who
thought you'd
cares?
already stopped it.
No, how would I have done that?
No, I thought you were gonna edit it
Oh,
to
for
what
sure.
you had said at the
Okay, cool.
end.
Boom. No. Yeah, I was gonna hit a little
Oh,
closure.
no.
But no, who cares? It's all good.
Well, at least I said behind the scenes.
That's like 40
you see
minutes.
the editing process.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
like
fine.
40 minutes.
Maybe
That's
that's
crazy.
the time you need to do for all of them. Dude, I gotta go soon. I
Yeah.
can't believe we ended at